Dividing whole numbers. Example 1. If a welder can burn 16 pounds of MIG wire in 4 hours, how many pounds per hour is the welder using? So we have 16 pounds in 4 hours, and we need to find it in pounds per hour. So what we're going to be doing is going 16, and we're going to be dividing it by 4 to get us our pounds per hour. So we're going to go ahead and reset this up like this, where we have 16 inside our division symbol and the 4 on the outside of it. Now we would go like this and do it. So we can go 4 can go into 1 0 times, because 1 is much smaller than 4. So we can't do anything in the 10 spot here. So that's how we look at it first. So we need to expand it to 16. Now 4 can go into 16 how many times? The answer is 4 times. So if we would put it above the 6, because 4 times 4 is 16. So then we do this, and then we'd go ahead and subtract the 16 minus 16 to get 0. So we know we did it correct. And this is our solution. So it's 4 pounds per hour. Let's do another example, example 2. But first, let's show that there's different ways to divide. So like in the last example, we did 16 divided by 4. Another method is going 16 divided by 4 like this, where we are going to be dividing the 16 by this 4. And then the other ways we also showed was 16 divided by 4 using our division symbol. So these are the different ways we could show division. Now let's do another example. Example 2. The total cost for 60 plates is $4,320. What is the price per plate? So what we're doing is we're taking the price and we're going to be dividing it by the number of plates. This is our indicator of what we're doing here for division, because per right here is telling us that we're going to be going ahead to divide, because we're putting price per plate. So what we're doing is going 4,320, and we're going to go ahead and divide it by 60. So in order for us to do this, because this is much bigger, we're going to have to do some long division here. So in order for us to do this, what we're doing is we're taking 60 and we're going to divide it into 4,320. Now 60 can't go into 4 because 60 is much larger than 4. So we can't do just 4. Then we can expand it to 43. But 43 is still smaller than 60. So we can't divide 60 into 43. So we're going to have to look at the first 3 digits. So 432. So 60 is smaller than 432. So we know we can go ahead and divide into this. But we're not quite sure which one. So what we're going to have to do is probably just do some quick multiplication on the side. So we can go 60. And then we need to get to a number that's close to this number that we think. So if we know that 6 times 7 is 42, we're going to go ahead and just multiply it by 7. Because when we add 60, we know that we're going to have it really close to that then. Because we're just going to go ahead and multiply the 42 times 10, which would give us 420. So we can go and we can confirm here. So 0 times 7 is 0. And then 7 times 6 is 42. So we have 420. So 60 can go into 432 7 times. We put it over the 2. And we're going to go ahead and place the 420 on the bottom, because 60 times 7 is 420. Now we can go ahead and subtract. Now we get 2 minus 0 is 2. 3 minus 2 is 1. 4 minus 4 is 0. Now we have 12 as our remainder here. So we know we did this right because 60 can't go into 12 at all. So we know we did the appropriate number, that we don't have to go higher or anything like that. Instead of at going to 8. So we know 7 is correct. Now we can go ahead and bring down this 0 right here. So when we bring down that 0, now we can go 60 can go into 120 how many times? So 60 can go into 120 2 times. And we can kind of confirm this because 6 times 2 is 12, but then when we multiply it by 10 is 120. But we can do this here. If you're not quite sure, this is how we would begin to estimate. So we go 0 times 2 is 0, 2 times 6 is 12. So we know 60 times 2 is equal to 120. Go ahead and subtract, and 120 minus 120 is 0. So we would say the price per plate is $72 per plate. Let's do one final example. Example 3, solve for the following. So here we have 32, and we need to see how many times it can go into 184. So 32 can't go into 1. So as 1 is much smaller than 32. So then we look at the first two. But 32 can't go into 11 because 11 is still smaller. So really all we're doing is placing a 0 because it's saying that we can't add into these. Because 32 can't go into 1, so it's 0 times. 32 can't go into 11, so that's 0. But 32 can go into 118. So let's go ahead and look. So 32, and let's go ahead and multiply it by 4. 2 times 4 is 8, and 3 times 4 is 12. So this is 128, which is larger than 118. So let's go 32 times 3. 2 times 3 is 6. 3 times 3 is 9. So 32 can go into 118 3 times. So 32 times 3 is 96. So we put that below. Now 8 minus 6 is 2. And then 1 minus 9 can't be done. So we need to go ahead and borrow from this one and put it here. So now we have 11 minus 9, which is 2. So 22 is smaller than 32, so we know we did the correct number with 3. The next thing will be is we're going to need to bring this down, this 4. So now we can go 32 can go into 224 how many times? So 32 times 4 is 128. So let's go ahead and do 6 here. So 2 times 6 is 12. 2 below, carry the 1. 3 times 6 is 18 plus 1 is 19. Let's go ahead and do the next number, 32 times 7. 2 times 4 is 14, carry the 1. 3 times 7 is 21, plus this 1 is 22. So 32 can go to 224 exactly 7 times. So we go ahead and put 224 below. We subtract and we get 0. So we are done when we reach this 0, and we're done with all the numbers on the top. So we have 37 as our final solution.